Hello. So here what we have is I'm going to show you how to use the Canva environment for creating some Instagram posts. A few users that have liked my post have asked me how I create the graphics that I do. And one of the ways that you can create multiple graphics easily is to have a template system. So you have to use either like Photoshop, or in my case I use Canva. I love Canva because it's simple and it's really cool. So anyways, this is not a polished, classroom experience by any means. I'm just putting some videos together just to share my knowledge and pay it forward. So on the screen we have what the items that you're going to be learning. So we will build a few different types of posts, and these are going to be anywhere from magazine layouts to CNN news style layouts to other layouts. We're going to be working with frames, building from back to front. The importance of that is as you build from the back, you throw things on top, that's what the user sees, everything from the front to back. So that's the importance there. We're going to work with letter spacing, line height spacing, highlighting, and transparency. The transparency is really cool because you can use it to highlight testimonials. So say you have a blog following and you have a bunch of comments, you can upload a picture of it and just put a box over it, change the transparency. It looks like you've highlighted it with a marker or circle it or something. It's super cool. As well as going into the Dropbox integration versus emailing yourself the image. The point of Dropbox is if you create a folder on your computer and call it, say, Instagram, that folder, if you install Dropbox on your phone, will also support the Instagram folder so that you can actually upload an image from your phone versus emailing yourself. Okay. So then we're going to look at a magazine cover kind of like this with the V magazine, make something like this. We're going to look at other layouts kind of similar to this, creating something fancy with frames like this with a picture frame, and going into something like this, going into a news CNN style setup here. Okay. And then lastly, I just want to mention onto hashtags, and then we'll get into the other videos. So here, where'd it go? So you are allowed 30 hashtags per your content. So what I recommend you do is have a nice statement. It says set up processes that will guarantee your success, such as taking classes and reading. So notice how I put in the pound processes, successes, classes, pound human, pound body, and so on. This makes all of the hashtags flow nicely, which you can also put them towards the bottom. So now let's go ahead and get onto the video. Hello, welcome. So here what I'm going to show you is a V magazine cover layout. We're going to make something that looks like this guy here with Canva, and we'll show you how you can do that. So basically we have a background image, we have some text here, contrast to the white, and some red text to the black. So we're going to show you what that looks like. So basically inside of Canva, what you can do is go into uploads, upload an image, and here's the image that we're going to work with. So then I'm going to decrease the size. So when you click on your uploaded image, center that where you want it. Let's resize it. Okay, let's make it so it fits fully on the screen. And if we look here, we can see the white background. So we're targeting this for Instagram. So this is basically a square right here. Put the V over there. Okay. So as you click, you'll notice the handles for the image you can actually grab them as you click on the different images here. Then with the font, you can go in there, put the text right there, and then changing the font is as simple as selecting this, selecting your fonts, changing. Now you go League Spartan, it seems. Change that to League Spartan. Okay. Okay, well maybe we want to make let's make the image a little bit larger. What I want to do is adjust this so that the font is directly on the dress and on his jacket. That looks almost okay. So then inside of Canva, you can change the color of the font right here by selecting green, or going back to purple or blue. Similarly, select the font that you want. You could change it to another color there. White, that doesn't work. Let's go back to black. Now, let's put the letter V. Let's increase the size of the letter V here. Now I'm going to get the handles and stretch it. Here you want to be at a 50% magnification ratio so that you can try and get that look we're going for. Another thing we have going here is we have the transparency. So if we go solid, we can see the transparency goes solid here. So nothing, you cannot see anything through it. So if we lower the transparency to say 60 or so, we can still see through the image. Let's go a little lower here. Now the trick with having a large V is you cannot select the objects behind it, so you want to work from the back to the front. And then what you want to do here is work with the arrange. So forward moves the image forward, back moves it to the background. So say I'm on this text here, we can arrange and then move it back. And then what will happen as you keep clicking to move it back, eventually it'll disappear. Didn't disappear at this point, but you get the idea. Okay, but I do want. All right. Now the other thing with Canva that I like to do is make a copy of the image. So that's this button here, replicates the image. So I'm going to click on here. Clicking on this trash can deletes this slide. Clicking on the copy this page copies the image. Then you want to hit File, Save every few minutes. So that's the letter V, the magazine V anyways. So here we've gone to 50%. We've had a large image and we stretched it out. Okay. Now let's look at another one here. Here's a newscaster background, for example. So here in my uploads, what we have is, we can see some various uploads that I have done here in the past. And I'm looking for the news background and I don't see it. It's in here somewhere. But anyways, this background image here, you can see that's just the background image. So you get this guy, move it to the back. Okay. And then here with your fonts, you can identify if you want these to be bullet or non-bullet. Here, for elevate your game, $, all you do is put in a box, set the color as dark blue, and and move your fonts to the front side like we did earlier. Now for this image here, you'll notice there's a frame around the lady. I'm going to go ahead and add that frame to the top here. Going to go to Elements, go into Shapes. I'm just going to pick a box. All right. So what I want this box to be is the color change icon is here. Let's change it to black. Now I want to change it, arrange this guy so he moves back. Perfect. I want this guy behind this photo, but I want him in front of this background here. Alright, so now what I'm trying to do is make a frame. Now you want to be consistent and make the size all the way around the same. So I'm going to go a little narrower. But what it does is it makes the image stand out. It makes it kind of pop off the image. Makes it look a little better. There we go. So now we have a black frame. So now with that black frame you can play around with the colors obviously. You could try green. Well, that looks kind of ugly unless your whole theme is green. We can go blue. That's okay. We can go red. You get the picture. So I'm going to go black, leave it there. Save my changes. Okay, here what we have is basically a white banner. So it's just a white, just like I added this banner here and adjusted it to size. Similar thing here. So go to Shapes. Let's create the white banner. Go all the way wide. Okay, then let's go ahead and throw some text on top. Subheading. So here we go. Let's move this over here. Let's make it, let's not lose it, lose the shape or the fonts. So I'm going to go change your font, and then we're going to do is select the color. Let's go to a black. Now drag it over here. Change the font. Let's go to potentially use Ultra. Nice thing with these handles is they can help you align the paragraph for you. So if I click here and I shrink this down, the text shrinks down for you. So that's a nice thing with using the handles for the text. Another important feature with the text is the text spacing. So you can do letter spacing. See how it stretches and doesn't stretch. Stretch, does not stretch. But this control stays within the parameters of this guy, which is cool. Other one is line height. Sometimes you want it stretched out, sometimes you want it put together very close. Alright, so here you just change your font as you need to. Another thing is the font size can go larger or smaller just by changing the font there. For Instagram, I generally recommend 28-point font is a good size. That's a 28-point. Someone can read the post right from their phone without having to magnify the image. And here's a couple of examples that I've created. These examples are for motivational and business growth themes. So then the idea is once you make one theme, hit the copy button. Okay, then we have another image, change your text, change the subject lines here, and then you're good to go. There are some blog articles I've written on chess and strategy and those types of things, so you can find those on my site. Here's a funny one with poopery. And so what I did here is I took a screenshot of the YouTube video of Girls Don't Poop, as you can see that there. And then into the uploads here, we have the image here. Click on it. The image is copied over again. So, okay. Then if you hit the delete key, the image is gone. All right. Okay, so here we have a slightly different layout. It says every day we are busy helping others. Remember to work on yourself. We've uploaded a city background image here. We have a logo in the background that we can move around if we want. The way you accomplish this look here, again, what I'm going to do is shrink down in size. Whoa, that's way small. Plus. Okay, so now what I want to do is get a hold of this. Alright, so here we can rotate this guy. So all we did is we take a couple of squares, move them to the front, and then rotating them just to kind of give you that separation that you would potentially like. So you could change the colors of these. If you want it to go to green, same thing here. Change it to green. You got to take your time selecting things, because you see how I did not want to select the text. Now click there. Now I can stretch this guy, and now we have two edges all the way. Rotate. So now it looks like we have a stripe across the center, which is kind of cool. Maybe we want to shrink the bottom one, but keep the same angle. But as you do that, where it says remember to work on yourself becomes kind of hides, or you can't see it as cool, because what you need is a contrast for the video here. So what you could do there on the font is rotate the font. Let's see about. So all the fonts here and everything could be rotated, which is really nice. Okay, here we go. Let's just skip that. So then we went to another background here. So I've uploaded a background image of San Francisco. We have the yellow with a percentage of transparency here. So this guy, his transparency is here. We can go solid, or we can go barely, down to 10, 15, and so on. This guy here, this is a standard tool that comes in Canva, and you can use this to stretch this out, which is really nice. The other thing you can do here is you can click on the text spacing and stretch that out as well. There are two types of controls on here, so look out for the one that allows the text stretching, text spacing that is. Okay, we go down. Let's pause here. So here we've uploaded a logo, the Google Ventures logo. We have a target icon right here in the center. We have a road to success, and we have this item. Let's move him take this guy, move him, so you can see how the text can be moved and adjusted by direction. So this part is really cool. Here you have some, if you search for people, these guys wind up here, and you can add these guys onto your image, and then you can change the colors of these guys as well. So here we can go black and maybe change him to a green, then he turns green. The other things, you can control the transparency on some of these guys. See how we can go, and they can change the color there. And here what we have is a simple circle, and then we threw a old school Instagram logo on top. And you can see that was what was there before, and this, we just put this on after. Here we have a space shuttle launch, and here we have two separate fonts. We have start as a separate word, and then we have do not wait for permission, just start. So there are two pieces of text that are in there separated. If you're going to do different size fonts, I recommend using different pieces of text on here. So just add different text objects onto your image. Here, climb the mountain. We have a background image. We have a green background surrounded by a white frame. Okay. Here we have an uploaded logo, which is Apple, with a white background, and the whole canvas here is actually white. And this guy here, we have Craigslist Photo, just a simple screenshot of Craigslist. You can see that object can be moved around. Very simple to do there. Here with a photo, what you have to do is make sure that the background color is going to match your theme that you're looking for. Otherwise, you have to get into fancy editing and remove the background of the image. That gets much more involved than we're covering here. And then here we have a little bit of creativity with the pretty in pink, but I say pretty and bold is the statement here. So then other things, if you search for pug, you can get this guy. Just search for pug right there and it'll come up. Yeah, so the pugs come up in there, and there he is right there. And here what's cool is you have an image, but you have text on top of the image. So a nice thing about this is it looks like it's part of the photo, so it's really cool. Here we're using the walkers again. So I've just added a bunch of walkers here. Just kind of piled them up. Here's an image of a toy background. Kind of cool. And here you have a Hollywood set, and that's just an uploaded image in the background there. And then again, here's me, are you stuck, and so on. You have a picture, adjust the picture to where you want it, then size it, go from there. Okay, so here we have another type of image setup we've done here. So we've taken a background image. Notice all we did is move it on top, put the background to blue, and we're putting it right next to it. Then you put your handle, whatever messaging you want here, and then what you do is put in some text here for a theme, put in another statement, something that works for you. Results don't happen overnight. Then hit copy. The important thing when you're working with multiple revisions of something is you want a simple way to replicate it. So to work with this design, you probably want to do figure out a way to get your grayscale images and then change the fonts and so on and the text, then you'll be okay. So here's another one again. So you have to think of how the images are going to look across 3 images, 12 images, 1 month, 2 months, and so on. Here the problem, what's happening here is this background image is not grayscale enough. So we need to have more of a grayscale image so that where it says growth systems, that can pop on the page. But that's something you want to be aware of. So you want the consistent color across everything. Here, notice you want the bars the same size all the way down. So here's our vision I'm going to put out today. So it's vision, it's about walk, talk, think like an entrepreneur. And here all we have is an image. Let's see if we can move the image around. Make sure this guy is aligned exactly here. Notice, let me move him up a hair. So we have the blue here, the blue here, and the blue here. Now what I'm going to do is, the way I pull this off is I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this with another program called Snagit. Go ahead and highlight it. All right, grab the handles here. Get rid of the white. So I'm going to save this, save as Instagram folder. I'm going to call this number 121. Save it as a JPEG. Now, what you want to have is Dropbox installed on your computer, on your phone, and what that'll allow you to do is the ability to add automatically synchronize photos in your Dropbox folder from your computer over to your phone, so then that you can upload the photo directly onto Instagram from your Dropbox folder. It's pretty cool that way. So on this page we have Rise and Grind. We have a construction guy right there. We have a guy reading a book. We have an arrow. These are all Canva images that you can actually add to your image. You can see these here. So if you put in construction here, you can see all of the various types of sample images that can come up, and you can go ahead and use them at that point. And then once the image comes up, just resize it. And the lines that are here, what'll happen is once you set up your account, when you go ahead and select purchase, you'll get a zip file and you'll get the image that you have without the lines inside of the individual guy and so on. So not a big deal. Another thing I want to show you here is this image here has 2 text boxes. So you have the upper text box, we have the lower text box. This is needed when you need to do this type of a layout. So another thing we want to worry about here is you have a template that you're working from. So if today I publish this image to Instagram, what you want to do is use this copy feature here. Select the image that you're on. Okay. Then this copy icon appears and you can duplicate the image. So we have our image here. We're going to select copy this page. Then what happens is this page gets copied down below one. So we have rise and grind, and then personal guru. The important thing that you want to be cautious of is as you post images across 3 images, 9 images, 12 images, and so on, if you want a consistent look and feel, you want to adjust this layout the first time and then leave it. Do not change it, because over time you'll notice things are moved. For example, if today I move this icon over here and I forget about it, it'll eventually catch up to you where you'll see it's like you upload a boo-boo or something. So I want to be cautious of that. And then to delete the page that you're on, hit the delete icon here. Do your file save. And you can also do a maximum of 30 pages per set. So I want to be aware of that. And so we talked about the other thing is here you can highlight the text and change the color as I've done in here. Just highlight the section of text that you want to change the color of, and you can do that. Okay. Then we go file save. Okay, that's all I have here. And then we already talked about 2 text blocks here, and sometimes you need to have your text go all the way across the top, or you want to use a different font for some reason. So that's totally fine. So for this image here, we selected a background, we've selected a frame, we added a couple of blocks here, changed the background color so we can add messaging inside there, and you can adjust this as you need. It's pretty cool. So if we were to say duplicate this and just start over, hit delete, delete. Now we have our background, hit delete again. Then we put in one of these backgrounds here. Let's go ahead and pick let's do something different. Let's go with a orange. Okay. Now why does it look like a stripe? That's because we have a box right here on this side. So again, one thing to keep in mind, if you're doing a pattern, you want to make sure that this size here is the same across all of your images, so they look very nice and consistent when you have 3 images, 6 images, 12 images, and so on. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and add a picture frame. Oh, it added a frame up here. Alright, there we go. There's the frame. Now let's get a picture on it. So these are the pictures that, let's add this one. Come on, get over there. Yeah, it's adding the image up top. Sometimes it does that. Okay. Now, the interesting thing with the frame is, click and just drop it into the center, and the picture auto centers itself. So that's pretty cool. Okay, now we'll notice that the blocks that were here initially, you don't see them. Now they're in the background, so we'll need to bring them forward, or we need to bring this picture back. So we're going to go to Arrange, click on Back, 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 Back. Okay, now we can see our blocks here with text. Now let's resize the frame. Cool thing with the frame is the picture stays glued inside there, so that's a really neat effect. Now let's change the background here to make it pop a little. Maybe change the color to green or something. So now your picture looks a little different. So now you have your text that's here, so you don't want to lose your text, so you want to be cautious of it. So now we have the box here. Let's change the color of the box. Let's go to the same green color. Now let's get the text and move the text on top. Depending on the font that you select, you'll have the ability to do bold or not bold. So it depends on the font that you select. Then here, just adjust this to the right. Another thing, when you're doing adjustments, you can use the keyboard. So you can use your left arrow key, right arrow key to help move your boxes and text around. So that's pretty cool there. Okay. So here is another post that I have for productivity, and what I've done is I've colored where it says Google Does. I've changed each individual font to correspond to the Google colors. So all you do is highlight each individual font, and you can actually change the color on each one. And here what we have is a picture. It's all white background, and then up here we have a white box. So fairly straightforward. Now we're going to come down here and go, let's see this one. How can we make this one look nice? Well, this is what we're turning this into. So what we have here is a bunch of different boxes, and we've controlled the transparency on each one. So if you would think, figure out how you want your boxes to look, and then change the transparency. So right here we're at 78. So you can go solid and it becomes a solid brick, or a very solid color anyways, or you can go very light. So I'm looking for them all to be about the same. We want them all left aligned. So you want to get the text and move the text out of the way. Wait for the handles to come up, and then just move your text over here. Again, for these, all you do is create a box. So for elements, click on elements again, elements again. There we go, shapes. And then basically we have a text a block, drop it on here, and we change it to yellow. That's all we have to do. I'm going to hit the delete key, then that guy goes away. Now, this breaks up the picture quite nice. However, here, this is one piece of text, and then what you do is you use the text spacing. You do the line height, and it stretches it up to the top to bottom. It also increases the fonts, the font size as far as spacing and so on. So there we go, that about fits there. Click away from there, and then here everything can go left justified, right justified. So it just depends on how you're setting up the image. I like having everything left justified on this image because it's left corner, left side. Okay. So everything looks fairly aligned. However, so we want to make sure everything's centered. And we got this guy here. Move him down a hair. Move this guy down a hair. Okay. So of course at this point you can change the font, you can change the color. Each piece of text can be a different color as well. Then you can have your website there as you like. And then here This is kind of an interesting impact by using frames. So just like we added a frame last time, we came down and added this guy here, and then we dropped the picture on top of it. So let's just go ahead and copy this. Gonna go ahead and delete the frame. Delete again. That deletes the frame and the image. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the frame. Okay, now go to our uploads. Select an image, for example. Let's pick the girl again. So as soon as you start to move the image automatically adjusts itself to the frame, which is really cool. So here you can kind of align this to the upper right, and then we have this image here, and then you can control the colors on this as well. And then here with the frame, it's on top of this block. Then we can move it. I'd rather move the block forward. Arrange forward. Okay, but then our text went. In other words, our text is hidden now. All right. So that's with this frame. Let's see what other frames we have here. Elements. I'm going to hit delete. Delete. All right, and let's throw an image on there. Let's throw modern family on there. Okay, and then we can resize this as we need it. So what's pretty cool is the stripes come through at whatever background color you have. So that's actually really nice. Okay. Then what's interesting about this image here is we have the modern family. Here we have the pound. That's a separate font. So to get the pound to this larger setup, what I did is I created a separate text object. So here we have a size 42. And then what do we have here? Well, this happens to be 42. But sometimes you have to separate a single font and make it larger so that it looks better. So here for the image, click on the image. We hit the filter. Then we selected grayscale. Then you have advanced options. And then you can play around with the saturation and the contrast to give it a slightly different impact. Okay, so slightly different. Then there's always the undo. So then the way we got these corners in, we can have 2 corners, we can have 1 corner or 4 corners. All it is you put your block in, adjust the size, and then move it, arrange it so that it's to the front, and you're good to go. So with Instagram, you have to think in series of 3, 6, 9. You have to kind of plan how you want your images to look. So here I did an image with my dogs, and it's pretty interesting that if you take away the image, it doesn't look like much. However, if you just put the image in the background like so, it looks much better. So what you do is you go in Google, you search for magazine covers, and Canva can pretty much give you the ability to make most magazine covers as long as you don't have to work with the background of the image. So This control here, it's a faded line. It goes from a solid color down to faded white. Here we have a different font. Here we have another image. This is all Canva capabilities. Here we have our block, and it's just at an angle. So the idea here is this was a themed for after a magazine. So just kind of having fun. I like dogs, love biking. Here's a fun example for New Year's. I uploaded balloons, and you can just throw the balloons on there, put some colors on it, and I'm an avid reader of books, so a simple post was, here's all the books you're reading and, you know, reason to share. Here you've got the pug, and you have the hat, so you can even select items like a hat and put it on your post or your image. So that winds up being pretty cool. Here it's almost like a military style font. It's called Black Ops 1. You'll want to pay attention to the fonts that you choose, so you know which ones you like and so on. So here we're adding the frame of an iPad. Drop your iPad on there, go to your uploads, take your picture again, move it on top, boom, it just centers itself. So you can have a whole series of family pictures inside of an iPad, and that could be your theme, your profile, if you like. And just like this, what do we got here? You can change the color of the iPad if you like. Make it pink. Then you have your background here. Up. Let's go to backgrounds. Let's go with something like that. So you can get pretty creative inside of Canva. Really cool tool. And then last, before we go, here's an iPhone with me in it. Be brave, be bold, and go ahead and follow me if you like. Hope you learned a few things here. We got a chance to talk through the filtering, through the copy, the arranging, the copying of slides, those types of things. So hopefully you found something good out of this. Thanks for watching.